Good evening. This May the 7th, 2024 Board of Aldermen meeting is hereby called to order. I'd like to ask Alderman Earhart, if you will, lead our invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, which I will lead. Please stand.
Thank you, Mayor. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, most gracious God, you are the creator and author of all things, and you put order to chaos. Lord, we just give you thanks for that order that we have. And Lord, I just pray today there's still much chaos in this world, whether it be locally or nationally or worldwide. And I just pray that we would humble ourselves and ask for your hand over this disorder again. Let us be a peaceable people, work together, and do the right thing for our fellow man. Lord, as we go through this meeting tonight, I pray that you would guide our decisions. May they be pleasing in your sight. And thank you so much for the blessing that this community has, the way you watch over our people and those who serve it. These things we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. One moment. Ms. Stout, would you come one moment? My apologies. Again, welcome to the board meeting. A reminder that these meetings are streamed live on YouTube and for playback as well. Please remember that. Plus, those of us with microphones, activate the microphone to green before speaking, please, so that it can be heard and recorded properly. So, roll call, please, Ms. Clerk.
Aldridge. Collins.
Here.
Dickerson.
Here.
Earhart.
Here.
Hamilton. Here. Henderson. Here. Wallace.
Here.
Thank you. 6 of 7 board members present. A quorum is established. Board, you have before you the minutes from, we had 2 meetings on April the 16th. One was a special call meeting that was noticed, and we talked about zoning during that meeting, and then we had a regular called board meeting of April the 16th. Any questions on those meetings or any motions to approve the minutes? Take one at a time. Yeah, first one would be the special meeting. Thank you, Mr. Dye. Special meeting of April 16th. Any questions on that or any approvals?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Wallace, motion. Is that a second? Ms. Hamilton, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Now on the April 16th regular meeting held here in this courtroom, any questions on those minutes or any motions to approve them? Mr. Collins' motion. Is there a second? Second, Mr. Dickerson. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Following the agenda, we have Mr. Russ Lehman, who would like to update the board on the 2023 Light Garden and discuss plans for 2024. If you will, Mr. Lehman, come forward to the lectern.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for this opportunity. I know it was something that we talked about last year. I'm going to try to keep it pithy.
Mr. Lehman, just for the clerk, would you give name and address so the clerk can record that?
Say again, name?
Would you give your name and home address so the clerk can make a record of it? Thank you.
It's Russ Lehman, 3430 Lambert Cove, Hernando, Mississippi, 38632. Thank you. So yes, I will try to keep it pithy. This is to serve as an exciting update, as well as we realized that after we started this project together with the city in 2022, we never got the opportunity to come back and give a summary update of year 1. So this is both a combined summary of year 1, year 2, where we stand with the light show in Olive Branch City Park Light Garden project. There is a full financial report on file with the city as well for the event. So this is mainly highlights, exciting numbers, fun things to kind of go through. But it's also to serve as a recap for what we set out to do and where we were at in that mission really quick. So If you go to page 2 there, it kind of has the different bullet points, but if you go to page 3, where the event benefits, our whole goal is to bring art and business together for the benefit of the community. We're doing that with Light Garden, of course, by putting on an incredible artistic light show, allowing local businesses to advertise in it, and then, of course, opening that up to the community, the best price in the region, and hopefully the best quality, too, as far as light shows go, and being accessible for many different people in what we do. But we'll get into that real quick. Some of our missions when we created this event were to create, on page 4, an annual family-friendly Christmas festival. We've strived to do that every year, and we're hoping to do that again this year. Of course, design a state-of-the-art light show that hosts entertainers and artisan vendors. That would be the art aspect of this event for us as a company. From a business side, promote local and regional businesses through quantifiable advertising. We do that through QR codes as well as direct marketing throughout the light show, as well as creating custom displays for the advertisers and businesses who support and sponsor the event. And then lastly, of course, the most important part for community is generate funding for local nonprofits through special events and other avenues at the light show. The Who of Light Garden, if you will, we're a 15-person setup crew. We have 10-person show staff that operate the show throughout the year. We had over 60 volunteers each year who come help volunteer, put up the lights, whether those are kids from the Interact Club with the Olive Branch Chamber or the South Haven Chamber, whether they're students, whether they're young, inspiring entrepreneurs who want to come see what we're trying to build. There are over 60 volunteers who participate. We hosted over 27 performance groups on the stage. Every single one of the artists you see as a part of the show is paid. That is a give back that we are adamant about doing, whether they're a local community theater or a high school or a college performing group or a local band. Every single one of those entertainers is paid who comes across the stage. We do have 124 different individuals who came across the stage this past year. We also have a 24-person food and beverage staff and a 5-person shop staff from local businesses such as Bricks and Minifigs, as well as Pink's Coffee House. We've promoted over 61 local businesses now at the Light Show and 17 national brands. In 2023, we were honored by the Olive Branch Chamber of Commerce to be the winner of the 2023 Macaulay Award. Further down, the What of Light Garden, just some fun numbers here. We have over 345 light displays in the show. It's over 500,000 LEDs in the city park. Big thanks to, of course, North Central Electric for donating the electricity year one, the install, as well as the Olive Branch Chamber, and of course our contributions to install all of that electrical as a part of this project year one. It's over 3.5 miles of extension cord that we lay out every single year as a part of the event, and then hand coil back up at the end of the show with our crew. And it's 2 miles of decorations if you count both sides of the 1 mile walking path around the show. We've also set off over 11,000 fireworks to date as a part of our New Year's Eve celebration. Also, some more numbers from the What of Light Garden. We've had 8 successful marriage proposals. We have a 100% success rate for marriage, so if you're looking to get engaged or married, come ask her at the Light Show. We do have 8 successful proposals. Year to date, we've had over 32,000 people come through the Light Show, and that's from 33 United States across America, so we are very excited to share that. Last year specifically was 17,200 people in attendance. We've had over 300 dogs attend the Light Show year to date. And last year alone, we did almost 5,000 cups of hot chocolate with Pink's Coffee House that were purchased at the Light Show. And then 912 coffees last year as well from Pink's Coffee House. Donations, nonprofits we've partnered with. Year one, we were able to raise and donate over $2,100 to Fifth Squad in 2022. Last year it was $1,300. Part of the change there was, of course, year one, military were not free to the Light Show. It was not free for military, active or retired, to come to the Light Show. They had to buy a ticket, but 100% of the revenue from military tickets was donated to Fifth Squad. So the event didn't see any of that revenue. It was a fundraiser for Fifth Squad. There was confusion as to why we did that year two, so we changed it up. So now military, active or retired, come to the Light Show for free, which is one of the reasons why that number was slightly less between 2022 and 2023. However, one of the things that we've adapted this coming year to help raise those numbers back up is Military Weekend, which is a special event night at the Light Show. We're now doing a 3-day event where $1 of every ticket sold over the entire weekend will now also go to Fifth Squad rather than just one individual night, and the National Guard helps us with that as well. Our 5K, we had great success bringing back the 5K. We do this in benefit of Make-A-Wish. It is the Light Garden 5K for charity. and we've benefited Make-A-Wish 2 years in a row. Year one, we had 59 runners, and we raised over $2,900 for Make-A-Wish. Last year, we almost tripled that with 170 runners, and we raised $7,600 for Make-A-Wish as a part of that 5K. So we were very excited to see that growth on their behalf. And then speaking of the categories of people who we benefit as a part of the light show, we gave, year to date, we've given over 2,500 tickets away that are free admission for teachers, nurses, firefighters, police officers, and active or retired military, and that's $35,000 value in tickets that we've been able to donate to those categories, which is very exciting. Also, special event updates, and then I know we're almost done. Of course, we're bringing back Dog Night. That has been a huge successful night. Big thanks, of course, to Pet Sweets, who was a sponsor last year, and then, of course, Hollywood Feed. Chef's Night will be returning. We're trying to not only have John Woods return, as well as hopefully we'll have a cook-off between the mayors again, potentially. That was very well received. We're reaching out to a couple of other of our YouTube celebrity chefs in the area to see if they'd also like to be involved in that culinary experience that night. Costume Night, we're very excited to officially announce this. Costume Night last year, we were lucky enough to get a partnership with Cosplay from Memphis, the professional cosplay team who do charity events for Cause. We also partnered with the 501st Legion as well as the Mandalorian Mercs, which are the Star Wars characters. We were very excited to receive the rights for that based on all the nonprofits we worked with. So on that night, it felt right to partner with someone who we've been working to partner with, which is now going to be Toys for Tots. Will be a benefactor of that night as well. Eventually, we'd love to see every special event night benefit a cause of some sort, and we're excited to announce that officially Toys for Tots will be partnering with us on Costume Night, and we're trying to source a train that if you donate a toy to Toys for Tots, you can ride the train throughout the show for free up and down the course. So it won't be something you get a ticket for, but if you donate a toy, which is part of their logo. So very excited about that. Of course, we're bringing back the 5K for charity. That's going to benefit Make-A-Wish again this year as well. We're bringing back Military Weekend with the Mississippi National Guard. We are also bringing back the special homily. We're trying to work with our new now officially 4-year presenting sponsor for the special homily. We just today closed the partnership with Love Worth Finding Ministries, the Adrian Rogers Ministry. They're going to be putting a custom display in the show, which I have an image of on the last slide here. But we're very excited about that. We're working to see what charity we could work with them to support as a part of that night as well. Radio Night with Flynn Broadcasting will be coming back as well. Karaoke was very well received, and people had a great time on that night. And then, of course, we'll be bringing back our New Year's Eve fireworks show as well. A couple other updates. We're changing ticketing services. We know that some people have had a hassle with that, so we're trying to make it an easier check-in process. People who ran the 5K really loved the platform run sign up, and so we're swapping over to their ticketing service, which will be ticket sign up. So now we should be able to take Apple Pay at the gate and a bunch of other quicker to get in access point with their services as well. So we're excited to be announcing that. Reduced dates. We're going to be, because of how the calendar worked out this year, if we open on the 22nd, like we were planning to, we're going to be opening before Thanksgiving rather than on Thanksgiving weekend. So just how the calendar works this year, we're probably going to be open for 27 dates rather than last year we were open for 30, and the year before that we were open, I believe, for 42 dates. So again, we're trying to move with the market as where we see people attending shows, which night works best for families, things like that. Weather-friendly policies, we're keeping all of the weather-friendly policies last year, where if you buy a ticket to any night of the light show, it's good for every other night, so you don't have to worry about rescheduling, changing. If you buy a ticket, it's good for every single night of the light show. Of course, the only exception to that is the New Year's Eve, as that is a premium ticket experience. We still have buses and group rate options that we're offering as well. That'll be coming back this year. And then, of course, season passes were well received last year, which was a new ad. Those will also be returning as people really enjoyed that season pass access. Last slide, I promise, this is it. New displays. If you see there, that is an image of the display that Love Worth Finding will be putting in the light show. It's a full building. It's 40 feet long. It's 40 feet tall to the spire. You'll be able to walk inside. There'll be heating towers as well as benches where you can sit. We're very excited about the whole experience that we're building around this display. We were doing a new show layout. We'll be rearranging a good portion of the show as well. That'll be exciting to see there, reflecting some new displays off the water. We're adding a small mini golf course to the show. It'll either be 9 to 18 holes. It'll for sure be included with season passes. We're looking at making it very accessible for families, something nominal just to help us make sense of adding it. But we are very excited to be adding that. It'll be a light-up mini golf experience, so it'll all be snow and winter themed, so it'll be very unique. And then, of course, we're trying to add some cornhole in the plaza. We increased the band budget last year, and I think if you came to the show, you got to hear some of the new sound that we brought. We had some phenomenal bands last year. We're going to be maintaining that going into this year because everyone really enjoyed the higher caliber of entertainment that we were able to provide at that price point. And then lastly, we're still looking into some potential for some rides and additional experiences. If not this year, then moving into the future years, hopefully. So those are the majority of the updates. I know it was a lot of numbers. I believe everyone has a copy of the PDF, and I've also sent it over to the clerk. But if anybody has any questions for us at this time, I don't want to hold up the meeting too much further, but we're obviously excited.
Thank you, Mr. Lemon. Any questions from the board? Sure. Crowd pleaser, very positive, and a lot of attendance, exposure for the city,
Yes, sir.
especially the last night. But we were able to contain that. The grass is greener where
Yes,
that
sir.
small occurrence happened. But all in all, it was awesome, and I know your team works around the clock to make it happen. I know that. It's a long stretch to have something go on that long, and your team's done a really good job in making it happen.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
And thank you all for your support.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Board, in the packet you have a copy of a program, and we're going to credit this Paint a Fire Hydrant program. We're going to credit that to Mr. Ed Crumpler. He's painted his own fire hydrant and kind of gave us some ideas. So you'll see where that's going to start. Let our art students from school start in June of this year through September. All the renderings had to be approved in advance. We will make sure we've got got good quality paintings and non-offensive paintings on the fire hydrants. I'm sure they'll be all good. Worked with the fire department. Communications has worked on this. Fire department, public works, legal, to make sure that we're doing all the things we need to do and not painting parts of the fire hydrant that might be an issue. But and again, approval in advance has to be received before the hydrant's painted. So looking for these huge murals on the side of a building, that takes an awful lot of high cost and scaffolding and things to do, but maybe we start with these fire hydrants and see how that catches on and go from there. Just dress up things a little bit and see what that looks like across the city. No, sir. Just want to make sure that y'all were aware of it. And I would like at this time to call forward Miss Jennifer Griffith. Jennifer, you're our recipient of the Mayor's Award for this month. And board, you can tell in your package there were a couple of really, really, really good ones. It was difficult to choose. Don't have unlimited funding, or probably all of them would have won because some really good choices. But Jen, you inched ahead big time, and submitted by Jay Nichols, your director. He states, I'd like to nominate Jen Griffith for the Mayor's Award for her outstanding work with the Mayor's Youth Council. Our inaugural year included 25 students from 6 schools. The group has logged almost 100 hours of community service through various city-led events and opportunities. Jen has been instrumental in scheduling the monthly meetings for these students and planned the summit trip to Starkville, Mississippi. The summit included youth councils from all over the state. So we ended up with 11 of the 25 went on the trip. They were able to attend the summit. They even won first place in a trivia contest, which is good. And I saw some of those videos, and that Coliseum of that area was packed with youth from all over the state. Jen recently had the opportunity to set up a table at the Career Tech Center East, held at Center Hill. Some of the students in our Mayor's Youth Council came by and were encouraging their classmates to be sure and sign up for the program this year because they had such a great time. The overwhelming success of this program is contributed to Jen for her unwavering dedication and tireless work she put in to this. She's an asset for our communications team, city staff as a whole, always willing to help anyone, even the mayor, and consistently has a positive attitude. Please consider Jen for the Mayor's Award. You did a phenomenal job. It was our very first, it was our inaugural program, and I think we set a good benchmark for the future years. I made 3 or 4 of those meetings, and the students just did a great job. So I'm thankful that you coordinated that and put it on and gave us a great start. And with that is the mayor's award of $250 cash dollars paid for by what? No tax dollars, paid for by private contributions. So, and thank you, Ms. Stout, for going out and getting this in the car, out of the car. I'd like to forgot. Thank you very much for bailing me out. So this is your award. Thank you so much. Great job. Yeah, great job. You also have in your packet some of the key items from a mayor's update and COO operational updates. I'm gonna forego those. If there are any of them in there that informational that you need more information on, let me know, but it's just to make sure that you're aware of things that staff have been involved in the last month, high-level overview of what's taking place in our departments. So that, if you've had them through the weekend, any questions about the mayor's update? Okay, very good. Moving forward. Consent agenda, you've had that as well. Any questions of items on the consent agenda? If no questions, any motions on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Ms. Hamilton, motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Collins. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. I'll ask Mr. Dickerson to join me, give a brief update on the Blue Ribbon trip to Washington. We made that last week, and I think it was positive. As those of you know, we won't know for several months about our requests as far as things that may be granted or not granted. We did get final confirmation there that we did receive $3.5 million for apron improvement at our airport. That was confirmed, signed off by the president as well. So that's very positive. We're pleased with that. We also received from the state legislature $1 million grant for terminal renovation at our airport. It's been a number of years since the waiting terminal and the waiting area has been rehabbed, and that's going to be a very positive new face for that. Control tower, we have $750K has been awarded for that to get the control tower looking better and our logo looking good as well. But all in all, a good trip. All the cities were represented. The county was represented as well. I think it was positive. Mr. Dixon, anything else to add?
The only thing I'll add is that we did a little something different this year. Beside meeting with our regular congressional representatives, we also met with Congressman Ezell and Congressman Guest staff to try to get their help on any of our projects that go forward.
Yes, sir. Good point. Any questions about that trip? So again, we'll know in a few months things that we asked for. I think the board was aware. We asked for 305, widening of 305. We asked for wastewater and sewer infrastructure improvements. We asked for as well, and additional airport funding also. So again, we'll know more in a couple of months, but didn't mind asking. And a lot of asks from DeSoto County. It was a grand total of about $1.2 billion. So how that's sorted out, congressmen and congresswomen will decide that. That's a lot. It's an awful lot, but I think I've shared with the board since I've been in office 2.5 years, the estimated cost to widen 305 has gone from $225 million to almost $500 million. So it's going to take federal dollars to make some of those things happen. Cities and counties just don't have that amount of funding and money to do those things. So time will tell, and we'll keep asking. Thank you. Next. Planning Commission, new business. This is a public hearing date for consideration and action on motion declaring the condition of the following properties to be a menace to the public health and safety and directing either the city staff or contract labor to clean the property forthwith. Just one remaining. Is it Mr. Gamble?
Yes, sir. This is the Blanchard property, 7883 Germantown Road, and this is a picture taken last week, but it's about in the same condition. And then these two on the mainland properties on next to Parkview, Oaks at Parkview condo project here, both were mowed during the week. That's a change since the packet went out. So there's really only one remaining, which would be this property.
Thank you. Is there anyone here for public comments, either for or against this address? Anyone here associated with the 7883 Germantown Road address? Seeing none, public comments are closed. Board have any questions of Mr. Gambone? Any motions for the city to move forward with having it cleaned? Mr. Collins' motion to have it cleaned. Is there a second? Ms. Henderson, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Under new business, consideration of a proposal from Neil Schaefer Incorporated for hydraulic modeling revisions in an hourly amount not to exceed $22,785 to analyze potential for a low hazard designation of Shikoka Dam. Mr. Swims, anything on that?
Yes, sir. Y'all have a memo in your packet, I think, that y'all got late this afternoon, and I apologize for the lateness of it. It has to do, and I'll get into it in a minute, about some grant possibilities that the city could get for some work that we could be doing on Shikoka Lake. Just to give y'all a little bit of a history before I get into the memo, about 5 years ago, if y'all will recall, we did hire Neil Schaefer to do a hydraulic study of some of the lakes in Maywood. They prepared those. As a result of those, they made recommendations, and we actually did some work. If you'll recall, the Woodland Lake project was one of the projects I think that we got some grant funding, and we went and did did a project to widen that, and that turned out really well. And part of the recommendation I think that we got from Neil Schaefer was for Shikoka Lake improvements, because it is a high hazard dam. And there were a number of recommendations that they had that were never implemented. I think that they were trying to replace the box culvert under Shikoka Dam, possibly weirs at Sylvan and at Shikoka Dam, possibly lowering the lake. There were a number of things that had to be done. They were fairly expensive. Lately, we've been into some discussions with the Mississippi Safe Dams Division about the possibility that the Shikoka Dam could actually be lowered from a high hazard to a low hazard. And they wanted to look into that. And so we've been discussing with Neil Schaefer about what their model showed and what it would take if that was actually reclassified to a low hazard dam, which could have a lot of benefits. One of the ones would be the improvements that Shikoka currently would be requiring as high hazard would not be required any longer. They would have to rerun the models, though. They would have to look and see if it would pass what's called the 35% probable maximum storm. From what I understand from Neil Schaefer, and I hope I'm not getting too technical and complicated on this, but is that dam currently could pass the 35% storm, which meets the criteria for a low hazard dam. But that's only one aspect of what has to be done to reclassify it. You have to actually look and see with the model running to run the storm through there and see how the downstream homes and businesses would be impacted. And so what I've got before you today is the first aspect of it is to get Neil Schaefer to take the model that they had already done and to modify the hydraulic model to run to see how a 35% storm would impact the downstream homes and businesses. That has to be done. They have to look, different scenarios might have to be run through the Dam Safety Division might require, and as a result, they could come with a recommendation to drop the classification of Shikoka to a low hazard. There's no guarantee that that would happen, but the study that I brought, the memo that I brought before you is basically to hire Neil Schaefer to let them go back and redo the model and to see what the impacts would be to pass what's called the 35% probable maximal storm through that dam, and see if it's possible that that could be lowered from a high hazard dam to a low hazard dam. There is grant funding available now, and that's kind of what's driven us to get here at this point. I'm being a little bit vague because right now what we've heard from the Safe Dams division at MDEQ is that there is a FEMA grant that is a 65-35 match that would be possibly available for any type of construction work. And there would also possibly be some additional funding from the state of Mississippi Dam Safety Fund that could help fund possibly the local match, which is the 35% for any construction that might have to be done that the study would indicate that needs to be done to reclassify that to a low hazard. So it's a good time for us to try to move forward with it. The deadlines on it, from what I understand, is that we would have to get Neil Schaefer on board at the hourly rate that they've done to redo the model. They'd have to be complete by the end of May, so it's a very tight timeline. That would have to be turned into DEQ. DEQ would actually then look at the data and determine whether or not they think it's, they agree, I guess, with the findings that Neil Schaefer did to drop it to a low hazard. So that's basically what I'm asking the board to consider. Would we hire Neil Schaefer? They've submitted an hourly not to exceed amount of $22,785 that includes modifying their hydraulic model. I hope I haven't been too fuzzy on the aspects of what's brought us to it, but
We got it,
I'll be
Mr.
glad
Swim.
to answer any questions.
We got it, Mr. Swim. We're quasi-engineers. No, thank you very much. Great update. Any questions from the board on this recommendation that study take place?
Is Neil Schaefer pretty confident they can get it done and get it submitted on time?
They tell me they can have it done by the end of May. So
Okay.
if we get them under contract, we should be able to turn it over to DEQ by the 1st of June.
Okay.
And I want to thank Andy for his work in doing this. We met with DEQ back in February, and they've got a tight deadline, but I think the last application deadline is June 15, so that was one of the reasons to hustle. They preferably wanted May 15, but I'm excited about the possibilities because, as y'all know, this has been something that's been hanging around for dang near 30 years, and it looks very positive that we can make a lot of these issues go away. So, but I want to, again, thank Andy for your hard work and diligence getting it to this point.
Thank you. Anyone else?
And Mayor, if any other boards have any comments, certainly welcome, but if not, I would make a motion to approve this, obviously, that we look at this study and see if we can get this project put to bed.
Motion by Mr. Earhart to go forward with this study. Is there a second? Second. Mr. Wallace, any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to leave a regular session with the intentions of going into executive session to discuss items 1 through 9? Mr. Dickerson motion, Mr. Wallace motion. Is there a second? Second, Ms. Henderson, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel matters in the administration department, personnel matters in the fire department, personnel matter in the gas billing department, personnel matter in the gas maintenance department, personnel matters in the police department, personnel litigation, discussion with city attorney, economic development, discussion with city attorney, and disposition of property, again, discussion with city attorney. Is there a motion to go into executive session to discuss items 1 through 9? Who's it? Mr. Wallace motion. Is there a second? Second. Ms. Henderson, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are in executive session.